Hello there. What's going on, everybody? We've got our Legion live stream today, and I've got my Darth Maul gear on-ish, something like that. I'm ready to learn more about Darth Maul, and we've got some cool promos to give away in today's stream. I'm going to be sharing this out to social media and kind of spreading the word for the first couple of minutes while we wait for people to filter in. But I'm going to be showing some cool promos that we're going to be giving away during the stream, so stay tuned for that. If you're interested in the FFG stream, this is a good place to be. We're going to talk about it before it happens. If you want to stick with us throughout the stream, you can, because we'll be restreaming everything that goes on over there, and then we'll be reacting to it afterwards. So that is cool. So, yes, that's basically everything that's going on here today. And that's about it for that. Let's see. I'm just I'm sharing this out on Facebook and in Twitter and Discord and all of that. We're gonna get some hopefully fun news today. Hopefully a good preview of Darth Maul. Hopefully a good preview of. Hopefully a good previews of Anakin. I don't know if we really need a whole lot of information on the previews of the Specialists pack, because that one is kind of like I think it's just gonna be, we kind of already know. The only thing I'm really curious about is the points changes and I guess the generic command cards. Pardon my loud keyboard. There we go. All right, we're shared out to Facebook and Twitter. Oh man, I've got some other cool stuff to show you guys during the pre-game show. Also, a little hint of one of my latest battle reports. We're doing something a little different. So that is really cool. All right. Hey everybody, that's going on. Welcome to the channel. I've got my Darth Maul gear on. If you want to get anything like this, there are links down in the description below. Big interesting point. I think I shared this on Facebook earlier today, but there is actually a discount, like a sale going on right now. Hold on. There's a code, if you go to my Teespring shop right now, on masks, not the full neck gaiters, but there's a code called Wear a Mask, WEARAMASK, for 10% off all masks, and just about all of my designs are also available in mask format on the Teespring shop, so they're running that. I didn't choose the timing of this, so that's Teespring is running that, so that's 10% off all masks until Sunday, so you have basically for the next 24 hours. So that's kind of cool. I didn't know that they were going to be doing that. I would have put word out sooner, but you know, I'm passing it along, and so that's pretty cool. But yeah, all that stuff is available down in the description below if you're interested in any of that. If you want to support the channel, I definitely appreciate it. There's links for Patreon as well as other social media, or if you want to support the channel with Super Chat, that's also going to be very much appreciated. But it's not necessary. I'm just simply glad to have you guys here. And I got my Darth Maul stuff ready to go. Also, Double Critical, because I'm really hoping, I'm sporting Double Critical. I haven't done a Double Critical podcast in a little while. I kind of want to wait until after. Wanted to wait until after Gen Con. Oh, we got a super chat from Bleed Green Productions. Thank you, Bleed Green. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and setting a good example. You know, thank you so much. So I definitely appreciate you. But yeah, we are. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to do anything super crazy with. By the way, we're about a half an hour out. What I'll be doing, if you guys are new here to how I've been trying to cover some of the Gen Con stuff, is once the FFG stream goes live, what I will do is I'll be switching over to their stream. And I'll be cutting off my mic, so we'll just be able to hear everything that they have. If they have any technical difficulties or if the stream cuts out, I'll jump back in. We'll keep talking, because at the in-flight report, they kept going up and down and up and down. So I'll be with you during all of that. We'll switch over, and it'll be kind of like that. And that's basically how that will work. we'll be kind of switching over kind of like this, and I'll be like, oh, look, they're down again, and then I'll right back, So kind of in that regard. So Bleed Green says, the cards you won from the giveaway came in, by the way. Well, thank you, Bleed Green. Speaking of cards for a giveaway, let me give you guys a little preview of the first giveaway. The first giveaway is a pair of cards. A pair of cards, and in the spirit of Gen Con, these are from Gen Con 2019. For you Rebel and Imperial players out there, we're going to get a Jyn Erso promo, she's a better character. She's double-sided. She's got the fancy little 2019. The last good year for Legion, right? 2019. And then we've got Director Krennic. And this is a pair, so one person's going to win both of these. So that's pretty cool. Director Krennic on the backside. Director Krennic is a very popular dude, by the way. Very popular dude. If you want to know how to win those, I'm going to let you know at the end of the stream.
Welcome back to FFG Live. This is part of our Gen Con online coverage.
How is that
We're
happening?
Here today to talk some Keyforge. My name is Evan Johnson, and I'm joined here today.
How is this happening?
Find people.
I don't know. I don't know how this is happening.
I'm Aaron Haltom. I'm one of the developers.
Oh. I was like, wait, did they start early? That was an old stream. I accidentally clicked on it in the background. All right, so that was funny. I don't know if you guys heard that. I was freaking out for a minute because I thought the live stream had started early, and I'm like, wait, why is Evan doing it? Evan doesn't do Legion anymore. So, all right, so that's cool. Yeah, so we had some interesting stuff happen recently. Lightning struck the house. Had to get a new cable modem, upgraded service a little bit, and we're back at it. Any chances that Ahsoka gets leaked today? Here's what I think. Speaking of Ahsoka, I don't think Ahsoka is getting leaked today. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see... I mean, maybe. I mean, it's entirely... I think what's more likely is we'll get leaked the whatever Jedi or Force user are going to complement Anakin and Maul for the Rebels and the Imperials. So I think... My guess is Kanan and one of the Inquisitors, like maybe Seventh Sister or something like that. Or maybe Ezra and Seventh Sister. Could be Kanan and the Grand Inquisitor also. Because they got a lot of Inquisitors to choose from. If they want to go Commander, they could do that. If they want to go... I figured the Grand Inquisitor makes a very good commander, while as the other Inquisitors make 4 good operatives. So that would be kind of cool. Crab droids? Oh man, I would love that, right? That would be really, really cool. I would love for them to do crab droids. Yeah, very cool, very cool. So stick with us because we're going to be talking about, during our pre-show here, we're going to be doing more speculation. I have on the agenda, I've got more promos. Well, I've got another promo that I'm going to be spoiling that I'm also going to be giving away. I'm going to want to talk to you guys a little bit about a new battle report that I have coming up soon that patrons already have access to. So let me do that really quick. So I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek at something I don't normally do in my battle reports, but if you look behind me, you'll see a new photo. For those of you who follow Discord at all, there's been some discussion that I've brought up about the new Clan Ren Mandalorians and how I wasn't a big fan of them. I had some criticism for them because I thought, boy, as expensive as they are, they could be killed kind of easily, with only the 1 hit point each and a lot of that. Especially when you compare them to Wookiees, primarily because of the fact that they're range 2. Now, first, granted, they got red defense die and a defensive surge and impervious, so it's not like they're squishy by nature. But the fact is, everybody's potentially squishy under the right circumstances, and the fact that they need to get up close and personal means that because they're range 2. They kind of have to that they're going to be kind of squishy. I don't know how effective they'll actually end up being. So I made the argument that I thought Wookiees were better because Wookiees are also a range 2 unit, but they've got 3 hit points per miniature, and I feel like that kind of outweighs we have red defense dice. Great, because lately my red defense dice have been terrible, and so. I'm like, one good shot from even a naked Rebel core unit could one-shot these guys. It's probably not going to, but it could. So, Anyway, so I decided I wanted to put them to the test, and since I had recently gotten some pretty cool preview miniatures from Order 66 miniatures with some awesome Mandalorians, we printed out. Sean and I we printed out some of the cards for the Mandalorians, and we did a bat rep of unreleased units. So we used, Sean put together a list using the Mandalorians, using Clan Ren, and I put together a triple Wookiee list, and we sent them into battle against each other. So that's the next battle report that's coming up. And this will be a fun one, I think, because you guys are going to get to see a little bit of how they work, and we'll get to put my theory to the test. And we'll see, what happens. I think I will say that it was very interesting. There were some very interesting lessons learned on both sides. And as with new stuff, there are some things that maybe we could do better again. It definitely makes me want to play against them again, and makes me want to also practice Wookiees some more, because I think there's potential on both sides. I still stand by that fact that I think that Wookiees can be great. I just don't think that they're seen through the meta as being that good. I'm not ignoring you guys in chat too. We're almost 100 viewers in chat right now. Pretty good for the pre-show. We have about 20 minutes until the show kicks off. So yeah. All right, let's see. Let's see what else is new. Yeah, and so Timberstove says Pierce. Pierce is important, and the Wookiees have Pierce. Granted, the Mandalorians can get Pierce also, right, with the best CAD duelist and melee. So that counts. But Pierce is really good, even against Impervious. Because when I roll a couple of damage at you with a Pierce 1, your Impervious roll has to be perfect in order for everything. And granted, red dice are great, but they're far from perfect. So, and with only one hit point per mini, and Wookiees and Mandos being about the same cost, I'm likely to get at least a wound through. That takes down a quarter of your force, when I'm unlucky. Imagine if I get lucky, imagine if you roll 2 blanks. Come on, So, yeah. And so I did some test rolls of just them attacking each other straight up, and Wookiees were just destroying them in just test rolls. But that's just straight dice versus straight dice. So, I thought, well, what about other things? What about when you take objectives and terrain and their movement 3 and their jump keywords and stuff like that into consideration? And that's why we wanted to do the full battle report. If you guys are just joining in, I've already spoiled one of the giveaways for today, and that's going to be for the Krennic and Jin promos from Gen Con, I believe, 2019. We got Krennic and Jin. Alternate arts, double-sided. We got the full art on the backside. So one lucky viewer is going to win both of those. Stay tuned to the end of the show to find out how to win that. We have another pretty cool, maybe even cooler promo, and this one is for a Tauntaun. This is a spot gloss. I don't know if you can. Let's see if we can get the light to shine on it just right. There we go. Wait. This way? There we go. You can see it, right? Yeah, this is one of the spot glosses. This was from Gen Con 2019 also. They're cool. They have that plastic. They're like credit cards. They're really thick. These are special promos. These I don't know how much these go for, but I think they go for a lot. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff. Because I don't really use promos. Usually when I get promos, I like to give them away because other people like them more than I do. I don't want to hold on to them myself because I'm fortunate and I get to attend some events and get to do cool stuff. But what makes this also doubly cool is that it's double-sided with the dewback on the back. And that's also spot gloss. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that dewback. Boom, bum, bum, bum. Yes. So this is the other giveaway. Somebody else is also going to win this. Both of these are going to be go on eBay and look it up. I don't go on eBay and look these up because I don't really care what they're worth. I don't charge people for them. I'm giving them away for free. All you have to do is be here, hang out, and I'm not going to charge you. I'm just going to mail it out to you. I'm going to pay postage and everything. You don't even have to pay postage. I keep international stamps on standby. I don't care where in the world you live. Now, if you're on Mars or at the space station, you're now automatically excluded. Although, honestly, if you're at the space station, you know, you can give me your family's address and I'll send it to them. You know, I'm not going to mail it to you on the International Space Station. Yeah. But if you like promos, I have some new promos that just went up on Patreon. Those are going to be running for like a week or two until, and then you know, so there's a chance for new patrons to be able to get on there and take advantage of that. And I do promo giveaways all the time over there as well, and I've been doing them more during live streams, although I've been really kind of going kind of crazy during Gen Con because it's a big event. Yeah, the shipping cost for the International Space Station, I don't know how big the shipping cost would be for the ISS, so that would be pretty interesting. All right, predictions for tonight. Predictions, we're gonna the big thing is Maul, right? The big thing is Darth Maul. What are we gonna see from Maul? How cool is he gonna be? Is he gonna have double critical, right? I wonder if they're going to show his command cards. My guess is they'll probably show like 1 or 2 command cards, but not all 3. My prediction is also that they will... Actually, no, they'll probably give us 1 command card from each. From Maul and Anakin. And then they'll spoil another command card to like one of the podcasts or something like that. That's probably what will need to happen. They'll probably do something like that. I don't get spoilers, apparently. Not early. I just have to, you know, steal them from everybody else. So, if you guys don't hear from me tomorrow, we have like a little hurricane coming through because, you know, I'm in Florida. So, glad that we can get this live stream in before the hurricane comes through because I'm hoping nothing crazy happens. But just in case it does, know that I definitely appreciate all of you. And you guys are definitely... mean so much to me. So thank you so much for hanging out and for tuning in and being overwhelmingly positive. We have a fantastic community. I'm really, really happy to see all of you guys hanging out with us. All right. Let's see. Let's do some chat here. Let's chat it up a little bit with you guys. By the way, if you're just joining too, there's a sale on my merch store in the Teespring links for all of the masks. The promo code is wear a mask, and you'll save 10%. That's running until tomorrow night, I think at midnight. So that's a Teespring special that they're doing. I didn't know about it until like yesterday, so I posted it on some of the social media. If you want to follow me on social media, there are links in the description below, as well as things like links to Patreon and merch store and all of that stuff. But I'm really glad to have you guys out here hanging out with us. So let's see, what do we think is going to be coming? Spiceman says Republic now has 3 commanders, 1 operative, and CIS has 2 commanders and 2 operatives. Yeah, not everything has to be synergistic. I don't think you need perfect symmetry. You know, across all of the factions. I mean, Rebels and Empire have way more. I'm really hoping to get more stuff from Star Wars Rebels, though. I would love to get the whole crew of Rebels together. I want Zeb and Chopper and Hera and all that stuff also. Especially with, like, Clan Ren and how that has the equip word on how you have to equip. You have to equip those 2 named characters. I wonder if we'll see like Hera as an operative, but then also a Hera heavy weapons card that she can, like, I want them to start doing that with minis now. I want like special unique named characters to also, I'm taking this hoodie off, man. It's hot. But yeah, I would love to see characters have like their own unit card and then also a mini card for them for a heavy weapons version. I would love for Hera to come with that. Actually, it'd be kind of cool if Hera just came with a mini for everybody. If she came out with like a Hera as a commander, but she also came with like the Inferno or the Spectre crew, right? Like that would be, how cool would that be if Hera like, and she came with the minis for all of the cards. I'm sorry, not the minis, but the small cards. So she had like a Spectre crew card, and it says equip must have Kanan, Ezra, blah 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 blah. You know, but it came with like a weakened version of all of them, so you could have them all in one super unit. Like that'd be pretty cool. That'd be a fun way to kind of put all your eggs in one basket. And it would have to be like a 200 point, maybe a 300 point unit or something like that. If you had like 6 or something like that. Oh man, that would be cool. And it would, but the problem is that would only work if you had everything. Check in, time check. We're at about 12 minutes. Refreshing my page here. FFG Live should be. Why are they not? What in the world? Starting soon. No, I don't want that. All right. Well, I don't know what is going on with them. They should be up already with their countdown, but they're not up already. Am I... Don't tell me I'm in the wrong time zone and I'm a whole hour. All right, let's go ahead and switch over because we've only got 15 seconds. 15 seconds. All right, I'm going to cut my mic off. This stream is getting ready to start. I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit so we can hear them a little better. There we go. All right, guys. Stay tuned. We've got the giveaways going on after this, and plus we're going to talk about it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Star Wars Legion live stream for Gen Con Online 2020. We're actually a very special event today. We're coming at you from the Gen Con main stage, so thanks everybody for joining us today. My name is BK. I'm here with a couple guests. We got Luke Eddy, Star Wars Legion developer, and sculpting lead Corey DeVore. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Yeah, same.
Excited
Awesome.
to be here.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks for joining me today. We've got some exciting stuff to cover today. Obviously, a few days ago on Wednesday, we had the in-flight report. We announced a few new products for Legion. We have the Anakin Skywalker Commander expansion.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Darth Maul and Sith Probe Droids operative expansion for the Separatists. And then I know many people have been waiting for these other two expansions for a while for both the Republic and the Separatists. We're getting a couple Specialists expansions, so it's going to bring a lot of new versatility to your armies. Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about these expansions, just right off the bat here, Luke?
Oh, just off the cuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I think all four of these things were kind of like a long time coming, I guess.
Yeah.
Like things we'd planned on doing for a while, and in our schedule, we got to the point where, so this would be kind of roughly wave 9 of Legion. In our schedule, we're like, all right, we have some other, exciting things coming after these, of course, but we had this wave right here where we're like, oh, what should we slot in here? And it was very adamant that we needed to hit a couple, fan favorites, almost
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
Fan service or player requested types of units, and two obvious characters for our new factions. Gotta have Anakin, gotta have Darth Maul, two of the coolest characters. Mm-hmm. And then just for the gameplay, what it does for gameplay for those two factions are the Specialist packs. So these are both things that are kind of like, things we needed to get out there, wanted to get out there for the new factions.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so Clone Wars, we've been slowly kind of filling in. We started off, obviously, in the Clone Wars core set, you had Obi-Wan and Grievous, General Grievous as the commanders.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got Dooku now for Separatists. We've got Captain Rex.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got, actually, Cad Bane and Padme were just released a couple weeks ago for operatives.
Mm-hmm.
But now, yeah, we're like, all right, let's get, I'm sure, Anakin and Maul, probably right up there on the top of everybody's, wish list for...
They were on the top of our list.
Okay, yeah. So you yourself were kind of ready to go with this.
I mean, sometimes what we put out is, a little bit selfish. We kind of just want to do what we want to do sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, let's start getting into these expansions, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And before we do, I just want to tell everybody watching at home, because we are on the Gen Con main stage. I'm looking at that chat right here. I know we're hosting chats from a couple different places, but if you do have any questions, I personally am looking at the Gen Con main stage chat, so make sure you ask your questions in there. So yeah, let's jump in. Let's talk about Anakin Skywalker. This new commander expansion, the second Jedi commander. So we're starting to get a few more Force users in the game here. Obviously, the other one, as we just said, was Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is a little bit more defensively minded, perhaps. He has the Sarisu Mastery.
Mm-hmm.
He has Guardian 3. Anakin, maybe a little bit more offensive-minded, perhaps.
Yes, Anakin is definitely a more offensive character. And he still has some of the classic Jedi defense type of stats and abilities that, we've come to expect with those characters. But generally speaking, Anakin is way more offensively minded. And even we'll tease some of his effects and abilities. Even his defensive abilities are more offensive than other characters.
Yeah, that's right. So, pretty much at this point, every Force character has had some sort of mastery of a form of lightsaber combat, right?
Right, yeah. All of the Force-wielding characters from the prequel era that we've done so far, we've each given them a special ability that is representative of their unique lightsaber mastery. So Anakin has the Jim So mastery ability, which would be a new ability. And Jim So is traditionally, like, the Sorcery mastery that Obi-Wan has is just like the best defense. Defend as best as you possibly can. Jim So mastery is where you are also defensive, but your defense, the whole point of it, is to then turn it into an attack on your opponent or damage to your opponent. So, so it gives Anakin some different sort of flavor there than the other characters.
Yeah, he kind of like turns around those attacks on him. It's like, I'm just coming right back
Right,
at you.
you hit me, I'm going to hit you. Yep.
Yeah, it reminds me of like episode 3 where they're at the very beginning like dueling Dooku a little bit. He's like,
Yeah, Anakin kind of rushes in there.
Yeah.
It's too early.
One of the other cool things about Anakin, like obviously he fights for the Republic. A lot of people probably have noticed that the Sculpt, and we're actually going to come to Corey here in just a couple minutes to talk about the Sculpts, is very kind of Revenge of the Sith Sculpt, where he is maybe starting to get tempted by the dark side a little bit. Does that kind of play into how he plays as a commander?
Yeah, it does absolutely. And I think something to note too is, even though we've depicted a Revenge of the Sith Anakin, this outfit that he wears, he starts wearing in the Clone Wars at about season 2. By season 3, he's not really wearing his Clone Wars armor anymore. Yeah. He switches to this sort of just tunic look much earlier than Obi-Wan does. I don't know what it says about those characters. Again, perhaps Obi-Wan a little more defensive than Anakin is. But something we wanted to do with the design of Anakin is have him sort of represent his character throughout the Clone Wars. So throughout the Clone Wars, you sort of see him both build in power, become a more powerful Force user, and definitely a more powerful lightsaber combatant, even more so than he is a Force user.
Yes.
And then you also see him, as you said, start to slip a little bit towards the dark side. And those seeds are there even before episode 3. And so, as John Schaefer hinted at just a little bit during our in-flight report, Anakin is actually going to grow in power as you play him in a game of Legion.
Yeah, and in fact, we actually have one of his command cards here, his
if we get that up on the screen.
That we want to show people, Hero of the Clone Wars. This kind of shows off kind of that notion of how he builds in power like throughout a game, right?
Exactly, yeah. So for this has a couple keywords on here, which I'll point out what they are. Permanent being the main one there. So permanent is a relatively new keyword that we saw a little bit in the Padme Amidala expansion. And what permanent means is after you've played this card, it sticks around. Normally command cards are discarded at the end of the round in which they are played and their effects end. Permanent just means this card is never automatically discarded on its own. So it just stays out in play. So the card itself is Anakin Skywalker gains Exemplar and Reliable 2. Exemplar means that friendly units at range 1, I believe, can use some of Anakin's tokens.
Yes.
And Reliable 2 means at the start of each round, he's going to get 2 Surge tokens. So automatically, he's going to have some tokens to share with units around him. It sort of represents like, he was a leader in the Clone Wars, leading by example, and sort of his energy, sort of a lot of other troops and things fed off of that energy. Now, the downside, though, is, as you can see at the end of the activation, if he's not at range 1 to 2 of a friendly unit, he gains 1 suppression token.
Yes.
So that's Anakin sort of like, when he's off on his own, he doesn't have his buddies, doesn't have Obi-Wan, doesn't have Padme kind of reining him in a little bit, he starts to sort of accrue, I guess, in some cases, maybe some affinity for the dark side.
Maybe,
or even just what it will represent in game is the more suppression he has, the less control the player will have over that unit.
And not only is the art on this card really good,
it's incredible.
Yeah, but this also kind of gives players an idea of what his other command cards are like, perhaps, right? They all kind of have permanent on them, so they're going to give him
Yep.
abilities throughout the game, and they all have this kind of drawback, correct?
Yes, so we are only spoiling one command card
That's
today.
right,
You'll
yeah.
have to look forward to the other ones in future preview articles.
Yep.
But we will say right now that every single one of his command cards has permanent. It gives him some keywords, and it has a drawback. So depending on what keywords those cards have, there's like, you kind of want to play them before you need them, or like maybe you want to play this one on this turn for the specific reason, but then the pip value is sort of dictated by what you want to do. So there's more powerful ones like this, Hero of the Clone Wars, that boost your whole forces, have a lower pip value. You know, and his ones that are more centered on just himself acting have that lower pip value. So there's some give and take there, and some interesting decision making about, you know, what abilities you power him up with first, and sort of anticipating engagements. But yeah, once you have all of his cards in play, he has a ton more of abilities and just is this crazy force to be reckoned with on the battlefield.
Yeah, it seems like a real interesting. You really have to think about the timing of his cards. I mean, obviously, there's times where you want priority, but you also maybe like want some of his abilities
Right,
a little bit.
yep.
So, yeah, I mean, it seems real cool. I'm like real excited about that.
Oh yeah, he's a lot of fun to play.
Oh man, I had to transition into another question. Oh yeah, so in addition to his command cards, obviously we showed off the kind of the product spread the other day on the in-flight
Yeah,
report.
that very sneaky product spread.
Yes, yeah. And a lot of fans at home, perhaps, you know, a few people in chat are asking about this. They noticed this other card that has this
Yeah, what's
kind of
that,
thing.
guys?
Yeah. How much do you want to say about that, Luke?
Well, I mean, we'll acknowledge that they noticed it, obviously, and that
Yeah.
is intentionally there, and it is a brand new type of card you've never seen before. And I won't get into any real specific details about mechanics or anything, but it is a card that represents Anakin's flaw, that represents sort of his sort of turn to the dark side, and it's the Emperor, of course. Well, not the Emperor at that point, Chancellor Palpatine.
Yes.
Sort of taking Anakin aside and sort of sowing these seeds of doubt in Anakin's mind. And so Anakin, as I said, through his permanent command cards, but also through this, becomes more difficult for the player to control. And this flaw card is what we're calling it. You give it to your opponent at the start of the game, and it's your opponent who then has the opportunity to play that card against you and sort of, you know, influence Anakin in the midst of the battle.
Okay, so is it kind of like a command card for your opponent?
It is
or-
like a command card,
Okay.
but it is not technically a command card. It's a new type of card. It'll be played during the command phase, but doesn't replace playing a command card.
Okay, so if you're going to play, you would play this card, and then you would also play your own command card if you were playing against an Anakin player. then.
Well, it will depend on the card.
Oh, sure,
So
okay,
this
yeah.
is a mechanic that we're going to have more of in the future with other
okay.
characters who, you know, perhaps they have some sort of personal flaw, or perhaps they have some sort of sympathy for the other side.
Okay.
So we're going to see more of this, and the cards themselves will just tell you exactly when you play it. It'll go into play like a command card, stay in play for the duration of that round, and then be discarded
away.
and just given back to the player who owns it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, all right. So, real excited to delve more deeply into that. Obviously, as you said, we'll see all of his command cards. We'll see this the new flawed card in future preview. So stay tuned for that. Corey, let's actually jump over to you. Let's talk about these Anakin sculpts here.
Yeah.
So Anakin, he comes in. You can build him in two different poses. And one of the things that's really cool to me, and obviously we'll talk about Maul here in a little bit, but both of them come with two different head options, which I think is probably the first time we've... I mean, I know with like clones we have like different helmets and things, but...
So yeah, we started actually. We actually did this with Cad Bane. There's two head options with,
that's
with
right,
two
yep.
expressions, one with a hat, one without. But after doing that, we were like, we should need to do more of this because also with Anakin, it's fitting to have a couple expressions. There's a lot of intense, Anakin facial expressions that Hayden Christensen does throughout episode 3 and even episode 2. And also at the same time, he's also kind of this lovable kind of, he's just, him
Real
and Obi-Wan.
cocksure, yeah.
They're charismatic, and both kind of fun. And even though Obi-Wan usually complains about it, he does the same stuff anyway. So they get along. They have fun. And so you kind of get that two sides of Anakin. And it was also kind of part of why we did some of the posing choices that we did. I felt it was really strong. Like me and the sculptor who did this, Robert, we really wanted to push the difference between him and Obi-Wan. Like the fact that Obi-Wan is more defensive, even though, again, this seems like a defensive pose, but it's about like a certain amount of like rage and build up before a charge, right? We didn't want to just do a running pose or something, although we thought about it. So what we kind of ended up with was just this kind of intense. This was kind of the first one we started with, and then we wanted to open it up and do something a little more akin to like something that Obi-Wan might do, or something that Obi-Wan would have taught him necessarily. Something that just makes him have a little more of an open pose, right? And versus this kind of closed off and angry thing. And of course, you have that angry, intense face, and you've also got the cocky smile. A little bit of on the side of the face.
I was gonna say, like, it almost, we were talking with Luke here about how Anakin is this kind of conflicted character, and I feel like that kind of comes through in the sculpts almost, where you have like one pose where he's more defensive, kind of like Anakin, or no, I'm sorry, he is Anakin, like Obi-Wan, who has is more defensive character himself, and then you have the more open, kind of more offensive, like I'm gonna kind of go on the attack and really like kind of lay into you, right?
Nope, yeah, they definitely conflict to the extent that there's like two separate torsos because the arms are so extreme, you can't just like have a hole here. So yes, they definitely conflict, but it's fun. He should be pretty fun to assemble, and you have some cool options.
Yeah, this is like a perfect like jump so pose where it's like that block is only because he's gonna hit you back as soon as he counters you.
Yeah, he's ready to just like nail you when you come in at him, right?
Oh yeah, yep. No, I remember Rob the sculptor just pouring over videos from the movies and the Clone Wars TV show of Anakin fighting to like work on these poses.
Yeah, and it's like you want to give him something unique, but also I don't know. It's hard to find options, and it's like hard to also. A lot of his poses are so unique that it's like you can't get a second option if you wanted one, and so it's just a challenge. But I really love what we ended up with. I can't imagine a lot of characters that we would do that kind of intense two-hand thing, rushing forward. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and so I mean, obviously, there are quite a few Jedi. They all wear similar robes and things, but probably one of the, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just making assumptions here about sculpting. But one of the things you probably want to try and convey their unique personality in the sculpts. And like, what were some of the ways, in addition to like kind of the poses, one of the cool things that I noticed is like Anakin has like the scar on his face even in there, like a little bit. So how did you try and versus like Obi-Wan, for example, how did you try and like kind of get his personality in there a little bit more?
Well, definitely the scar, and also his outfit is really unique to him. Even though it's very similar in cut and like style to like what Obi-Wan wears. Obi-Wan is like very famous for his like kind of soft, like knitted robe that is very rounded on the shoulders and very like it kind of hugs him and it's very like loose. But Anakin, he's basically wearing a similar outfit, but the paneling is not robe; it's actually like leather. So it's very pointy in the corners, and it's also a little starchier. So it's like it's a little more firm in the cloth folds and stuff. Didn't want to make it as billowy, and I think that what it does is it kind of gives him this like a kind of not evil, but like he's
a bad boy.
Yeah, he's got like a little bit of this. This silhouette that comes through, and I feel like it was really important that we made sure that his robes it felt like the right material. It felt like it came across that that silhouette that he has when he stands brooding, with his shoulders popped out. It's unique to him, and no other Jedi has it. They usually have the Obi-Wan style like soft robes, So
yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So. Before we move on to the Republic Specialist, I actually want to come back over to Luke. So we're getting a few questions in the chat about this.
All right. Well, I'll answer a few questions.
Yeah. But so one of the big things, and I think we talked about this yesterday. What's going to be the points cost of a guy like Anakin? We talked. He's like kind of like high risk, high reward.
I did say I'd maybe reveal some points cost.
Yep.
No, and I think especially in some of these new factions, like clones, obviously a lot of them have expensive units, so you need to think about how am I going to fit this in my army. And the other side, the droids have so many cheap units. You're like, well, how many like, I need to make as much room as I can.
Yes, yep.
So Anakin, because he is designed as a high-risk, high-reward character, and because his power level builds over the start of the game, or over the course of the game, meaning at the start he's a lower power level, he's going to clock in at 160.
So base cost of
Pretty
160.
reasonable. Yeah, 15 points less than Obi-Wan, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So yeah, kind of got some options there, different possibilities for maybe powering him up. Obviously,
By the
permanent
end,
card.
by the end of the game, if you've gotten all his command cards in play, he is worth a lot more than 160.
160. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. So I think that's probably a good place to end talking about Anakin. You guys want to talk about some Republic Specialists?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Republic Specialists, very cool. Obviously, there's a lot of similarities to the Rebel and Imperial Specialists, but there's also some pretty important differences, I would say. One of the things that I saw kind of the reaction to the other day, right after the in-flight report, was are these guys, like, so we have echoing the other ones, we have Clone Commander in there, we have a Clone Engineer in there, Clone Medic, and a Clone Comms Technician.
Yes.
So the same upgrades that can go in those personnel slots.
The same ones you've come to know and love.
Yep, but there's maybe, like the Medic and the Engineer, are those guys going to be non-combatants like they were in the other ones?
Well, would it make sense for a clone running around with a gun to be a non-combatant?
I don't think so.
No, so the Clone Engineer and the Clone Medic both do not have the non-combatant keyword. That was a keyword on the other medics and engineers for the... Oh, thank you, Ryan. For the Rebel and Imperial Medic and Engineer. So the clones don't have that keyword. They are combatants. They can fight. To balance that, though, instead of, like the other engineers and medics, healing 2 wounds, the Clone Medic and the Clone Engineer will each heal 1 wound.
Okay, yeah, so not quite as powerful in their personnel effects, but they can fire back.
But they actually are adding attack dice to the attacks that the unit is making.
Interesting, all right. And so with the Clone Commander, and we'll obviously get into this a little bit more when we talk about the Separatist, the T-Series Tactical Droid that comes with the Separatist Specialist.
Yeah, that boy.
But these guys, again, very similar to their counterparts with the Rebel and Imperial. They come with actually some newer keywords, and they have a little bit, just slightly higher cost.
Well, 5 points.
Yeah, 5 points.
So we want to reveal the cost of these guys too, because again, it's fun to think about how they might play into your army. So actually, both the Clone and the T-Series Tactical Droid generic commanders for your armies will be 55 points.
Okay.
So nice and inexpensive. Again, only 5 points more than the Rebel and Imperial ones. The stats on the Clone Commander are considerably better than the Rebel and Imperial ones. You'll have red armor saves, like other clones, and a better gun, too.
Yep.
So you can look forward to that. But as you alluded to, they also have, they don't share the exact same keywords as the Rebel and Imperial ones. So you can look forward to 2 brand new keywords that they have that were specifically designed for synergy with the faction that you find them in.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, just a slight tick up in points, but
yeah,
worth it for the benefits that you get for
very
those 5
worth it.
extra
I
points.
think, I think more so than the Rebel and Imperial ones, which the Rebel and Imperial ones, taking one of those in place of any other commander sort of has a bit of a cost to it. They're not that points efficient. Whereas these guys, we wanted, players to fully be able to have a competitive army with just a Clone Commander or just a T-Series Tactical Droid. So these guys perform quite well.
Okay, yeah, very nice. And obviously, in addition to the specialists you're going to get in this pack, the other big thing that people are looking forward to are 3 new command cards.
Right, yeah, the generic command cards.
Generic command cards for the particular faction. And so we're going to show off the 1 pip for the Republic here, the Synchronized Offensive, which is pretty cool. It really kind of helps you do get some vehicles going. Obviously, we have the Saber Tank.
Yep.
You have and upcoming stuff, we have the Republic ATRT that's coming up here in just a little bit. So tell me a little bit more. What's going on with the Synchronized Offensive?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of the 1 pips that these 2 factions got for the generic cards. So if you recall the Rebel and Imperial ones, if you're familiar with those, the different sort of 1, 2, and 3 pips sort of played with what rank they order issues to. These ones are going to play with what type of unit they issue orders to. So the 1-pips are there to encourage players to utilize vehicles, and they're very good 1-pips. Being able to, as the card says, after a friendly vehicle is issued an order, choose a friendly clone trooper at range 1 to 2 and issue that unit an order. That, for the clones, means setting up those fire support attacks, where a clone trooper with a face-up order token can add its dice to an attack that another unit is making. In this case, probably the vehicle that's near it. So this effect right here specifically sets up that sort of 1-2 punch with a 1-pip. So you may, that may be your alpha strike, so to speak. But you need a vehicle in order to do it. And I think that actually fits well with the generic commanders, because by taking a generic commander, you're spending less points on your commander character, and you have more points left over to spend on vehicles, on a bunch of ATRTs or on 1, maybe 2 saber tanks. So it synergizes well with what you might be doing with that generic commander.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, you're spending less points obviously on the commander, so you can fit these bigger vehicles in there. People call me out. I forgot to mention the Bark in terms of also a Republic vehicle that is available.
It also works with the Bark. Yeah, well, the Bark's flying around though. It might be a little harder to set up, but that Bark still converts surges, so it's a good fire support platform.
Yeah, so it does synergize very nicely with kind of like existing Republic abilities, fire support, things like that. You can, if you really want to hit something pretty hard, you can hit it with the saber tank and a unit of clones.
Unit of clones with like a Z6, yeah, that's a mean shot right there.
That's
and
you can
get it off. You can get it off with a 1-pip, which you couldn't do with any other 1-pips, because traditionally a 1-pip only orders a order token to one unit, and to fire support, the clone unit needs to have an order token. And if it's a 1-pip, that's your one token, and you don't have the other unit ready to go to activate as well. So by giving out 2 orders essentially with a 1-pip, it lets you set that up.
Yes, okay, very nice, yeah. All of these things, yeah, see, it seems like development.
Yeah, this is what we do.
You gotta think about these things.
A little bit.
Cool. All right, yeah. So Corey, let's talk about these sculpts. I love these sculpts. Obviously, the first thing that I noticed, probably the first thing that everybody else noticed, was this little clone commander right here. This guy right here. He's got the little hologram, which looks so cool. Tell me more about that. How did you guys do that?
Yeah, that was kind of my... So as soon as someone was like, "Oh, we gotta do a generic commander pose or generic commander option," and we talked about having... Like, one thing that we want to do is make sure people have options for these generic commanders too, because sometimes you can take more than one, or just like there's going to be more than one at the table, and you want to make sure that you're not just running like the same looking figure across from each other. So, I was like, well, I need a couple options, and the first one that I wanted to do, and I'd thought about before, I was like, I love, like, when Commander Cody or whoever pops out the little hologram, and I was like, let's see if someone will let me do it. Because I was not sure, because it's so tiny. And I went for it, and I made it as big as it had to be for production, and it is so small.
It's so small, but yet it has detail.
It has detail. It looks, you can tell it's a clone.
It's a little clone.
Gun. Yeah. It has a little gun, and it's awesome. It shouldn't be too crazy to paint, honestly. Cause
you just paint it blue, and
just
then
paint
get
a little blue,
little white highlights, and then
a little dry brush or something. And so he was a lot of fun to pitch. And of course, I wanted a couple other options, like him holding his own helmets, which, by the way, this is true for all of these, but they all have Phase 2 and Phase 1 options, as well as the helmet that he's holding in his arm has a Phase 2 and a Phase 1 option. So
that's right, yeah.
And helmetless heads.
And,
all 4
and helmetless heads.
They all have
3 heads. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. To get that, and everyone loved it as soon as they saw it. I was like, "Oh, I don't have to convince you? Great, awesome,
rock and roll." Yeah. So, are these production copies of the minis?
These are test shots. Yeah, these are actual shots of plastic from the factory. So
nice. Okay. Cool. So
the real deal.
Yeah.
Real deal.
Nice taste of things to come, perhaps. Yeah. I mean, you already kind of talked about how they each have a few different options and different helmets, and they can also go helmetless, which is very cool. I think, again, everybody at home, they don't miss a thing. I believe there's one that kind of has like a mohawk,
yes,
which is really cool.
I was lucky enough to do these ones, and so I was like, well, I gotta come up with a couple more hairdos. We gotta do some more hairdos. So yeah, there's 2 kind of classic clone the Tamora Morrison hair from episode 2, and then there's a mohawk, and then there's just like the buzz cut, which a lot of them have in Clone Wars and such. So trying to get a couple other things in there, and I'm definitely excited about that.
Very cool, yeah. And what are some of the other options for? I mean, obviously the commander himself, very cool. What are some of the other options for the other guys down here?
So each one of this guy mostly just has the backpack is technically optional, but mostly he's just helmet options. He's the engineer. He's got a phase 1 and a phase 2 unique gunner helmet, which we used for that guy, and then the medic and the comms tech back here each also have just holding a gun. So you can actually turn them into and take their backpacks off and such. Like this guy's backpack is just magneted on; it doesn't have straps, so you can actually just turn them into vanilla clone troopers that if you want to swap into your other units just to spice up the look, give them some backpacks,
Okay.
So you have flexibility. You don't just have to use that model if you just want more variety from your other clones and so on. So.
Sure. And as we were talking about earlier, these guys all are ready to contribute to the unit if they're firing at something. So you can just be like a nice alternate option in that way as well, right?
Exactly. So whatever you want to do with them.
Yeah, I love that the medic here has the little data pad unique to the Clone Wars series that we see characters using.
Yeah. No, that was this. We were kind of looking at is it Kix? Is his name?
The medic. Yeah.
He's the medic, and he just always has that backpack, and he's pretty much just like a vanilla clone trooper except for that backpack and his coloring. But I was like, we need to get something. We need to do something to make him just actually look like he's doing checking vitals, because the clones are not always depicted with tools, as often. The engineer has
the hydrospanner.
He has a hydrospanner on his leg, and so it's just trying to get those little things that help push it over and say, oh yeah, they have tools. They actually are going to do something, He's not just a crouching stormtrooper. He's checking vitals. And you can pay him like Hicks if you want.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, a lot of nice, cool little details in there. Really kind of help. This is what this mini actually does. In battle. So.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm a big fan of the details that the clone commander has on his armor, because it's not just what is it? He's got a comma. He's got the shoulder antenna. He's got the helmet with the visor, and then he's also got the extra 2-part shoulder strap and pauldron.
Yep.
So it's 3 different clone commanders combined into one.
Kinda, yeah. We wanted to kind of come up with our own, yeah. And it was the Commander Cody has it's not just the visor. He's got a unique chin and cameras and things. And so we were like, well, a visored helmet is nice because that's something that you obviously see as a commander. However, in the TV show and stuff, you see more than one clone with the shoulder antenna, which Cody also has.
One too.
Yep. And then that unique strap that's not like the ARC Trooper pauldron is the Bark Speeders droiders have it. There's a couple
Nemo
commanders.
and Baraka, I think.
Yeah, Baraka has it. And so, so we just wanted to give him, he's a little bit unique. And
he's kind of our own little boy.
And that shoulder pad is, because of the pull direction needs, it actually pops on and off. So you can also give him a vanilla shoulder if you want to cut off the antenna or whatever you want to do. So he's flexible.
Yep. All right, so we're just over halfway through, so I think it's time to move on. Let's talk about Maul here, shall we?
Yeah.
All right. So we have the Darth Maul and Sith Probe Droids operative expansion for the Separatist Alliance. So Maul, obviously a pretty iconic character with his double-bladed lightsaber. We'll actually have Corey talk about the 3 different poses for him in a little bit. But what do you want to tell us about Maul here, Luke?
Man, what do I want to tell you about Maul? I don't know. What do you want me to say? He was, this was a unit I was super excited to design. Had a lot of thoughts about, what his abilities should be and stuff. And I think one of the things that definitely led the design of him was, again, how we've given these prequel characters their own unique abilities that represent their lightsaber masteries. And Darth Maul has Joyo mastery, which is sort of, you sort of take that inner rage and conflict and hatred, the dark side, and you fuel that into the energy in your lightsaber fight. So Maul is just all about being a whirlwind of destruction. Although he does have some other elements too, because when he's not that, he's also a sneaky boy, So he has some tricks up his sleeve as well. And one of the things that was cool was, I don't even know at what point in visioning the unit this would have been, but I think someone mentioned like probe droids, and we're like, oh hey, why not? Let's just have a unit of Sith. We're not going to probably get around to doing it, otherwise. And there's such an iconic part of, that first encounter with Maul on Tatooine. You've seen the probe droids sneaking around.
Sound effect.
Yep, that noise. Yeah. So, so that was a cool extra thing to sort of develop alongside him as well as this unit of Sith probe droids. They're their own unit that accompanies Maul.
Okay, yeah, so actually I was about to ask this anyway, and we're getting questions in the chat about it. We have the iconic double-bladed lightsaber, which helps him roll quite a few dice.
He rolls a lot of dice.
Yeah, do you want to say how many dice he rolls?
Okay, good thing we printed off unit cards. Oh yeah, he rolls 8 dice.
Yeah.
So instead of doing, Grievous classic multiple lightsabers all over the place, so he had to have Arsenal 2. For a double-bladed lightsaber, Arsenal 2 doesn't that often do a whole lot, because mostly in combat you want to concentrate on one unit. And even though Maul fights multiple opponents, like how he wins that fight is by concentrating on one person at a time. So Maul doesn't really split his attacks. He's like, he can defend against multiple people, but he wants to focus down on one person. So it didn't seem like it was advantageous mechanically or thematically to give the character Arsenal 2. For those who don't know Legion, Arsenal 2 just means you combine 2 weapons together. So we could have represented the double-bladed lightsaber as 2 different sets of dice on his card, but it made more sense to just combine them together into one 8-dice attack that he has, that he just nails one character with.
Yeah, so he's coming at you.
Oh yeah, he's coming at you. Yes.
And so yeah, he also has another couple keywords that are. Talk about just the other few keywords that he has. It's kind of stuff you would expect for like a Force user, perhaps.
Exactly. He can jump, of course. We'd expect that. Same with Anakin. Just gotta get that classic Force jump in there. But I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
But I think definitely Maul has some of the most versatile play of any character we've made so far. So you really get that sort of sense of him flowing in combat, and that sort of sense of movement and unpredictability that I think really defines how that character fights.
Yeah, we're actually going to take a look here in just a second about kind of that movement and flow. But before we do, 8-dice attack, obviously. The Juyo Mastery, a lot of other cool things.
Yeah.
What's the base cost?
Oh yeah,
of our friend Darth Maul here.
Fun fact for you kids at home. So Maul and Anakin have the same cost. Maul is also a sort of a high-risk, high-reward character. He's very much on the defensive. But, if you're not careful, he can get himself into a bad position and die to, just concentrated ranged fire. No melee character wants to be in that position. They want to get into the fight. So being a high-risk, high-reward character was, again, one of the design goals, because I didn't want to end up with another Separatist unit that is, 175, 200 plus points, because as you have too many of those characters, it's hard to combine them in the same army. Especially as an operative, you need to pay for a commander, even if it is a generic one. Maul clocks in at a nice 160 points.
Very nice, yeah. And so, let's go back. You were talking about how, and, obviously, iconic duel at the end of The Phantom Menace there between Obi-Wan, Maul, and Qui-Gon Jinn. He just kind of, flows in combat. He's at first he's taking on Obi-Wan, then he's just going over here fighting Qui-Gon.
He kicks Obi-Wan real far off that ledge to just fight Qui-Gon for a while.
Yep. So he's fighting them both. He's moving around in combat quite well. And that is reflected in this really amazing command card.
Yeah, let's see a command
great
card.
Name. Great art, Duel of the Fates, where he can move around to different targets. Perhaps he can do a lot of stuff with it.
This one has a keyword on here, which, for those who don't know, disengage means normally when two units are in melee combat, two trooper units, characters, are in melee combat, it's difficult for one to leave. But disengage means that if the character has that keyword, they can just freely move out of that combat. So because this card is about locking down an opponent, we wanted to add in the ability to move out of, say, a disadvantaged engagement into a better one. So say he's locked in combat with another Force user and that fight's not going as well, he could actually instead move into engagement with, I don't know, a bunch of clone troopers who really don't want to get into lightsaber combat with Darth Maul.
They don't want to deal with 8 dice coming at them, right?
Exactly. But this card is, Duel of the Fates is quite potent actually against Force users, though. That second part there, while Maul is engaged, and again, that's when two characters are in melee combat with an enemy unit, that unit cannot spend aim, dodge, standby, or surge tokens. So those tokens, especially the dodge tokens, are really what Jedi live off of. That's how they improve their defenses in combat. That's how even sometimes they do damage back to other characters. So Maul really basically counters a key part of other Force users, and this card gives you that sense of him as a duelist.
Yes.
And the negating standby tokens in there too is also a direct counter to one of Obi-Wan's cards, where Obi-Wan, it's his hello there card. One of the things he can do is get a surge or a standby token in order to react to another unit coming in. He could use that, say, to hit back if someone engages him in melee. But this card of Maul's directly counters that. So again, we have Maul, even though Obi-Wan does, in the end, get the better of Maul in that fight. For most of it, Maul has the upper hand. So that's represented there a little bit.
Yeah. And this also would shut down, any token sharing that the Republic has going on, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't say they can't spend their own tokens, just say they cannot spend tokens.
Any at all,
for those people who are familiar with the clones, you know that they can share tokens amongst each other. So this shuts that down as well.
So even if Padme was nearby and Obi-Wan wanted to use one of her tokens, he could not, right?
Right, yeah, and that's the exemplar keyword as well that we saw with Anakin. Padme has that too, and that's sort of along with the clone token sharing, there are characters that also share tokens. That's kind of a theme of the Republic units, and this, you're right, shuts that down as well.
Very nice, yeah. So he's going to be pretty nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Corey, let's turn to the sculpts again. Obviously, we have 3 sculpts for this guy. We have, he has the lightsaber out in front of him, very reminiscent of, obviously iconic moment at the end of Phantom Menace. The door's open, he breaks out the lightsaber, lights it up. He has the lightsaber held behind him with the hand in front, and he also can do, I believe, we have the render up on the screen, or we did, 2 hands on the lightsaber. Tell us a little bit about coming up with the different sculpts from Maul here.
Yeah, so we knew we wanted to get some pose options in here so people could have different Mauls and try different things. But there was actually one that I started with, which was based off a key moment in that final room when he's fighting. It's actually from when he's fighting Obi-Wan right after killing Qui-Gon. And it's where he does a little spin around, and he's got this nice whirlwind in his cloth. And that's, I believe, this one where he's got this back arm saber, and I just loved that pose, and I really wanted to push the facial expressions as well. There's 2 facial expressions with him, and in that, in a lot of these moments when he's with Obi-Wan, especially, he's just got that big, vicious, teeth-baring face, and I just felt like that had such a great little just stop from the attack, about to whirlwind back in and just start destroying things, and I really wanted to capture that. Of course, the natural other option is you do the intense face, and of course the intense face moment is what you just said when the doors open and he's got that really just
I'm not messing around.
Yeah, and so of course this is the natural other option, but we wanted to get a nice 2-handed option in there too, and thankfully his poses are so open and they require that we could get him in there without getting too crazy with many parts reasons. Or
right, unlike Anakin.
Unlike Anakin, where it's an extreme
torsos.
change.
Yeah.
We were able to do it pretty easily because these are quite open poses. He's always just flowing.
Yeah, well, and I love this one because it's reminiscent of the move he does where the door behind him's not open yet, and he does that point to something and then throws it right at the button to the door and then turns.
Yeah.
So he does.
He's got it behind him. Yeah, I love it. So
very cool.
It was something I definitely wanted to capture. And
Yeah, I think it's like really cool how like Luke has been talking about like how Maul like he kind of flows in combat, right? And you like kind of see that in these sculpts. Obviously, you look at like his robes and they're flowing. They're not just kind of like sitting down at his sides or anything like that. You can kind of tell that he's like moving these lightsabers,
or even
like
just
they were
moving
around,
arbitrarily.
Yeah.
Like you look at these and it's got a specific movement that's being emphasized here in his cloak.
yeah, is that kind of spin or stop spinning or whatever? Yeah, and which is definitely based. There's a couple moments he does it, but there's a few key ones that
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm actually being reminded in the chat here.
Is this about the pips?
Oh, well, yeah, we should talk about that. So that was a question that came up earlier. Obviously, in the spread there, Maul has 2 command cards that only have 1 pip on them.
Yeah, man, eagle eyes. Well, and again, I like these sneaky spreads where if you look close, you catch something. Yeah, so we revealed one of his 1 pips. He has another 1 pip.
Yes.
And now some people who, know Legion pretty well have commented, oh, maybe that's not so great because, like, then you have to somehow have another 3 pip. I guess you use a generic one and then the commanders. But no, his other 1 pip, and the reason we're not spoiling it is because it ties directly into his other mechanics and we want to wait for those. But I will say that his other 1 pip replaces a 3 pip. So similar to Han Solo's 0 pip card that says, while building your command hand, treat this as though it had 1 pip. Maul's other 1 pip says, while building your command hand, treat this as though it had 3 pips. So he actually has a 1 instead of a 3. So again, that's emphasizing just how eager he is and how aggressive he is and how he's the one initiating combat.
Yeah, he wants to get in there.
Oh, yeah.
He's not messing around. Very cool. So we're running a little low on time. We only have 15 minutes left, and we do want to talk about the Separatist Specialist.
Yes.
Before we do that, we have got a little too caught up, perhaps, in how awesome Darth Maul is, and we forgot to talk about his Sith Probe droids.
Yeah.
So they're very cool as well. They are a detachment from him, correct?
Yep, so you have to field Maul in order to field the Sith Probe droids. They're a Special Forces unit. You get 3 of them. I think we don't want to give a lot away about them because they're a good thing to reveal later in some preview articles.
Exactly, yeah.
But on our in-flight report, John Schaefer did mention that they utilize a brand new token, an observation token. So this is something you're going to see in other units as well coming up, such as the Viper Recon droid and the Separatist Specialist, which we'll talk about. But it's a new type of token that lets a unit sort of hang back but influence the battlefield. So
get some interesting new mechanics in there.
Yeah. But we should definitely talk about the Sculpt because it's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, Corey, you were telling us a lot about the Sculpt before the stream. Tell us a little bit more about the Sith Probe right here.
Yeah, this is a fun. It's a little bit hard to see probably up there, but this is like, I actually I enjoy doing a lot of droids and stuff, and I enjoy when we get to do them because it's fun to try and capture all the nuance and shapes and hard surface stuff. But there's this like weird little clamshell and just making that model work and part well. Plus it's got like exposed wires and cameras, so just getting the all those little bits without having it to be a ton of parts or making it difficult. It's like one of my big things and part of what I do is make sure stuff is fun to assemble, and that's one that I feel like is pretty fun to assemble for how crazy it looks in the end. It's hard to look at it and be like, how is this made? Which is fun.
It's like a little puzzle.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool.
And so Maul is going to come with 3 of those guys, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So, yeah, look for more on Maul and his Sith Probe droids, obviously, in the coming months.
Yep.
On our website, we'll have preview articles for all of those. And just like all of our mini streams, I should take the time to say right now, the announcement article for all of these expansions is going to go up right after this stream. There's going to be a couple more spoilers in there. I believe I have some upgrade cards in there, so be on the lookout for that. Let's move into our last expansion here.
Yeah.
The Separatist Specialist.
Last but not least.
Yes, last but not least. I know this is probably especially for Separatists because they're a faction that really relies on, hey, we're going to throw a lot of units at you. They have been waiting a long time for, here, we're going to have this cheap generic commander. And the T-Series tactical droid that comes in this expansion really kind of helps out Separatist strategies in a lot of ways. Tell us a little more about that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Separatist faction is an army of extremes. You have the cheapest units in the game, and then you have some of the most expensive units in the game. So it helps on both fronts, too. It can help you have a horde army, or it can help you like have the budget for some of those more expensive things. And especially with Maul coming out, we already have Cad Bane as an operative, but they're not leading the army, so you still need another character. And a T-Series tactical droid can stand in as the commander of your army, save you some points, let you have an operative, and still devote points to core units, maybe some special forces, etc.
Very cool, yeah. So one of the things that also, in addition to, I mean, obviously, the big exciting thing is this T-Series tactical droid.
Yeah.
But there's some cool stuff with the actual specialists. Unfortunately, we don't have any of the minis for these guys, but you get a little bit difference here. In the other ones, we had, obviously, the engineer, the commander, the medic, and the comms tech.
Right.
We don't have those exactly in this expansion.
Droids don't need a comms tech.
Exactly.
They already got that stuff built in. So they get another little droid, the Viper Recon droid, which looks amazing. I love his two little leg options. He's got the hanging down. He's got the little like floaty.
Couple leg options.
He is going to use those observation tokens I talked about before. So similar to the other specialist upgrades, he'll slot into a unit. He's not going to. Well, he actually can attack, I should say. He's not a non-combatant. But that's not his primary role. His primary role is going to be influencing the battle with those tokens.
Okay, yeah. So another way for the Separatists to get the observation tokens, in addition to Maul, we're going to have. Yeah, so all right, so we're going to see observation.
Yeah,
a couple
not a
different
lot,
places,
but we're going to sprinkle it in for the kind of units that make sense to be using it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know that was something in designing this wave. I mean, knew there was going to be those two droids like that, and there's going to be droids like that in the future. There's a lot of sort of spy droids in Star Wars. And it seemed like a natural sort of token to introduce into the game.
Okay, yeah, so...
To give those droids something to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, obviously they seem like, they're a very integral part of armies and things in the Star Wars galaxy, so... yeah, very cool. We already talked about the T-Series tactical droid. You want to talk about a Separatist command card?
Yeah,
perhaps?
let's throw a command card up on screen.
All right. So, obviously the Separatists, we showed the Synchronized Offensive for the Republic that involved a vehicle. Obviously, the Separatists also use a lot of vehicles.
They do.
AAT tank probably being the most iconic, but they have a few others. I'll try and get them all this time. We got the Droidicas from the core
Yep,
set.
they are technically a vehicle.
Yep. And we have the Staff Riders that are coming out very soon.
Yeah.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
Okay, yeah. I didn't miss anything this time.
One heavy and two support units.
Yep. So we have Mechanized Incursion, which
Yeah.
is the Separatist only. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, if you can cast your mind back to just a few minutes ago, this is almost exactly the same text as the Republic card that we saw, Synchronized Offensive. Obviously, it says Separatist only, and it says Droid Trooper instead of Clone Trooper. But it has the same effect, that after you give a friendly unit an order token, then you choose a friendly Droid Trooper, in this case, at range 1 to 2, and give that unit an order. Now, even though the effects are exactly the same, it does totally different things for the two factions, which is kind of cool. As I said, the clone one lets you set up that fire support shot because of the clone's fire support ability. The Mechanized Incursion, though, for a Separatist army, droid troopers, core troopers, most of them have the coordinate ability, which lets them daisy chain and pass order tokens along to the whole army because they're sort of networked like that. So what this does is, normally with a 1-pip, you can only give an order to one unit, especially like a character's 1-pip, like Count Dooku's. It's only going to give an order to him or Grievous's. And Separatist players know, they're well aware, you have those dud turns, those 1-pip turns where the droids don't get any orders. And, then they have to just work off of their AI because they're not being told what to do and they play subpar. However, this is a 1-pip that if you have a vehicle, you can actually hit that vehicle and then start that daisy chain. So with a 1-pip, it still gives you, in some cases, total control of your army. And it's especially good with the Staff Riders, as you see here.
Yes, yep.
Because those are vehicles that have the coordinate keyword. So again, almost identical text, but a totally different effect for the faction that it's in.
Very cool. Yeah,
It's cool stuff.
Yeah, it's like you guys planned it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's like a lot of applications for that with Separatists, though. Especially if you have, a big like AAT tank or.
Yeah, you want that thing to have an order. Yeah, especially on like a turn that you want to go first. That's the thing you want to give an order to. But then you're like, oh darn, now my droids don't know what to do.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking about, I really like droidicas with like linked targeting array. And if you really want to get them that like aim token, you can order them and you can give them an order, and then they can just hit some battle droids. And
absolutely, and start that chain. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. We have, just to go back, just to answer some questions, the T-Series Tactical Droid Commander version, also 55 points.
Also 55 points. And what's funny is they have the same abilities. The Clone One and the Clone Commander and the T-Series Droid have the same abilities. The stats on the T-Series are garbage. Clones are really good. T-Series, he's not much of a fighter. He's got bad saves, he's got bad attack, but the keywords that they have, that we are not going to tell you what they are yet, are so much better on the droid that they cost the same points.
Yeah, so they can do stuff that might help with Separatist strategies, perhaps. All right, yeah. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
There we go. So, again, we don't have the actual production copies of the minis for this
They do exist.
They do exist.
There's no delay or anything like that.
Yeah. But, well, we do have the renders up on the screen, or we did earlier. Corey, tell us a little about those. I mean, so these droids are all... I feel like, obviously with the Separatists, you have a lot of, like, uniform droids, like B1 battle droids. So, like, they all look the same, B2s, things like that. In this pack, you're getting 4 completely different droids.
Totally different, yeah. No, that was something that's something that's actually kind of cool about the Separatist pack, especially. And it's like with the clones, you have like 4 clones. And they all have to have different gear to like feel different. But with those droids, you have so many more like just unique, specific ones. Like there's that medic who's just crazy, like he's just bonkers.
Yep.
And like all droids, it's a lot easier to get like a little bit of posability without making them difficult to assemble. So you have like some arm movement. You got those, so you got some options, including the T series has like a head that's on a ball and can rotate around. But yeah, what's really fun about all of them is that like each of them has like their own kind of quirky thing. Like is it the PK? I always forget the
PK
name.
worker droid.
Yep. PK worker droid, and he's got like a little B1 hat.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, which was like I think it's an art piece.
Yeah, it was Max Brook from X-Wing.
Yeah,
wrote an art piece that we liked. That was
yeah. I was like, yes, we should do this because he had tiny hands, and I'm like, how are we gonna make those in plastic? Put something in.
Yeah, have them hold something.
But yeah, I think each of them kind of has something unique. Like Luke said, the Viper droid has 2 leg options, like a flying forward, one with his legs dangling behind, and one that's just kind of floating there, just doing the classic like beginning of Hoth kind of larger, but still a recon droid, just like scooting real slow. So I really like it because I like what I want to do all the time is like get more shapes and stuff into Legion. I like when you look at the table and there's just some more variety here and there, little pockets of like really interesting silhouettes, and it's like stuff like dark droids and stuff like these are just immediately adding that to the Separatist faction as well as just looking cool on the table. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, and all those little droids are canon too.
It's all canon. Yeah, people don't know where that PK droid is.
Yeah, where's that PK droid? Yeah, do your research.
Go watch episode 1.
Phantom Menace, kids.
Yeah, like 2 scenes.
Yeah,
very nice. Yeah, I know it's really cool. I do just love. He's just got the little B1 head. He's like, I'm gonna fix this guy.
Ratio.
I'm gonna bring him back. So we're running a little low on time. I do want to address one question. Hey, look.
Finish on.
So Luke, obviously we've had a few releases. We've had Padme and Cad Bane. We've got some releases coming up, and I believe you've told me about an upcoming update to the rules reference, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll have. That was just a little bit delayed. Working from home, trying to do a lot of things at once. That'll be up soon, and I think later this year, perhaps a little later than it dropped last year, but still this year, we're going to have some points changes in errata. So again, later this year, you can expect that. But yep. Do we want to give a little hint? To
I believe we were talking about giving a little hint.
So, one of the things we're definitely prioritizing right now is increasing the options for these 2 new factions. But we're not forgetting about our Rebel and Imperial
That's right.
players.
We
So
still have
this is
Galactic
just-
Civil War.
this
Yep.
is just a little hint to tell you that after these units come out, the Anakin, Maul, and the 2 specialist packs, the next 4 units are going to be Rebel and Imperial units.
That's right.
Some things I'm really excited about.
Me
Yeah, exactly. 2, I would say, highly requested characters
Yes.
included in those. One thing that is going to be interesting is it's canon. We didn't make it up, but I've never seen a single person guess that it would be in Legion. I mean, you know what one I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, it's
But I mean, these
It's very
announcements are
exciting,
ways
yeah.
out there, so we don't want to reveal
exactly.
anything.
Yeah, we don't.
But want to let you Rebel and Imperial players know you're not forgotten.
Yes.
All right.
Very cool stuff.
So I think, yep, that's probably a good time to start wrapping things up. We had actually a lot of questions in the chat about Inferno Squad.
Oh, they're coming.
Yep, they are coming. Look for actually the preview article for Inferno Squad this upcoming week.
Nice.
On Wednesday. That will be posted on our website, so look for that then. Inferno Squad and Clan Ren are releasing at the end of August. If I remember the date correctly, it's August 28th. I think that is updated on our upcoming page. I just went through earlier this week and updated all of those. Shortly after that, we are going to have the Republic ATRT, the Staff Riders. What are the other 2 that I'm missing from there?
I think that covers it.
Those are coming in early September. And then you can expect Anakin and Maul in November, I believe. And then the Specialists, look for those in stores in January. So there you have it, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It's been an honor, I feel like, being on the Gen Con main stage. So thank you for joining us, everybody at home. Luke and Corey, thank you for being here. It was awesome. I'm super excited for all of these expansions. Yeah, thanks a lot, everybody. And we are still coming at you with a few more live streams tomorrow. You can check out the rest of our schedule just below the stream on Twitch currently. So thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
All right, so lots to talk about. Lots to talk about there. Wow. All right. So, everybody, what do you guys think? Wow, what was your favorite thing to see from that? I am going to try to load up these images, and what we'll do is we'll add them back in, and we should have them showing up here shortly. Boom. All right, let me shrink myself so we can kind of put the images center stage. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. They sure ended with a banger, huh? They ended with a banger in that the next 4 expansions are going to be Rebels and Imperials, and 2 of them will be highly requested. One of them never requested, and that's really a tough one because now it's like, what's the things that I not only never requested, but I never thought anybody would ever want in Legion. I think Luke Eddy is just trolling us. All right, so that's what I think, right? I think that's a straight up troll. Straight up troll. I think he is just trying to throw everybody sideways. Like, what's coming is the thing you would have never, ever wanted. Am I supposed to be excited about that? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I can't even think. Like, what? It's hard to think about. Like, what's something that you would have never wanted? Like, creatures is probably rules out any type of creature. Maybe the Rancor trainer without the Rancor. Like, that could be maybe something I would have never thought. Like, why would I have gotten him like by himself, right? Yeah, and Uncharted Land says that could have been sarcasm. That absolutely, like, if it's somebody like Ahsoka for the Rebels, then yes, that would be like the ultimate sarcasm. Like, I never thought anybody would have wanted her in Legion. Of course, you know. All right, so I'm not sure. We can. I think that's worthy of a whole episode of Double Critical. So like talking about what are these things, you know, like I feel like that is I think Luke Eddy just gave us the manuscript for next episode of Double Critical. So let's talk about what they did tell us. So we got Anakin. Nice looking sculpt on Anakin too. They talk about him using Jim So mastery. He is a more offensive character. So his His special thing is that when he's defending, he's going to hit you back. So I'm assuming it's basically his deflect is probably going to also work in melee or something like that. He's maybe got an enhanced version of deflect or something like that. We didn't get a look at his unit card, and I think there's a reason for that. It probably is going to... My guess is his flaw card is going to have something to do with suppression. Like, if he ever gets a certain amount of suppression on him, your opponent's going to be able to play his flaw card, and that's going to do something bad. Maybe even let my opponent take control of him, at least for one turn, maybe for the rest of the game, which is potentially... That's actually a really good... Hear me out. What if his flaw card... Because flaw is the new type of card. It's a way they can balance a character that... Because, you could say Anakin, being the chosen one, was so strong and powerful that he may have been seen as too strong. And don't forget, guys, I'm still giving away the promos. They're coming up at the end. We've got the Krennic and Jyn Erso promo, as well as the double-sided Tauntaun Dewback promo. Those are coming up. We're going to be doing those in a little while. So the flaw card is amazing. I love this idea because I think the flaw card itself gives him room to grow. That gives them room to grow. We know they like to occasionally make other versions of characters, so maybe they want to do a different version of Anakin. How do you do that and have it be balanced, right? Well, why would you make a weaker, like a younger version of Anakin, like an episode 2 Anakin or something like that, for example, or season 1 Clone Wars Anakin? Why would you even do that if this version is more powerful? Well, maybe this version is so powerful that he's gotten tempted by the dark side. It has that flaw card, which you have to give to your opponent. Then at some point they can play it. So you're handing your opponent a power play against you at the beginning of the game, which could be risky. That's what could allow them to give you a really powerful Anakin Skywalker that happens to, have this flaw card. So maybe you want to run a less powerful Anakin, but that maybe he doesn't have the flaw card, which is a really cool idea. Like, I love that. But what if it's like, if Anakin ever has 4 suppression on him after his rally step, your opponent may play the flaw card to take control of him for the rest of the game. Something like that. Like, wouldn't that be like... Now, I think that's probably a little too easy to manufacture, especially if you're playing against the Empire. Especially if you're playing against the Empire, which excels in giving out suppression. Wouldn't it be amazing if the Empire took control of Anakin and made him Darth Vader? That's it. That's it. It's got to work with suppression. The reason I say that is because his 3-pip, Hero of the Clone Wars, it gives him a suppression token. It makes him, makes him better. It makes him stronger. It's a permanent card. All of his command cards are going to be permanent. This is the only one we had previewed. Anakin Skywalker gains Exemplar and Reliable too. And then, but if he's ever by himself, he's going to gain a suppression token at the end of his activation, which makes it really hard for him to start shedding suppression normally. He doesn't want to be by himself. If he's alone, he's easier to convert, especially for somebody like the Emperor. Bum, bum, bum. Oh my gosh. So this means they're probably going to do Palpatine at some point. Maybe he does a lot of suppression. Imagine if somebody else is running Mind Trick. Imagine if you take him up against Jedi Luke, who tries to say, no, you're my father, join me. And Luke runs, oh my gosh. Dude, this is insane. Wow. Okay. So I'm really excited about this guy now. And the cool thing with the flaw card too is, like, you can build your list around it. Like, give Obi-Wan hope, have Obi-Wan, like, design... That would make that card hope like a lot better, wouldn't it? It would make ALS Secura with Inspire 2 like so much better, right? Like, look at all of this stuff. Oh my goodness, that's insane. Anakin's going to cost 160 points. They kind of hint that he has the potential to be way stronger than 160 points, but because he's a high risk, high reward player, that's why they made his cost cheaper, because apparently your opponent can take him. Or do something. They didn't say that they can take control of him. They just said it's a flaw card and your opponent's going to be able to play it against you. But I think him switching sides is perfect for something like that. Somebody asks in chat, Daniel's asking about anything on the reprints of Death Troopers or B2s. They didn't say anything about reprints. Sorry. Right, I'm sure they're always reprinting stuff, so it's just you just have to be patient. And I know that that's cold comfort for somebody who's waiting for it, but that's just the truth. You have to be patient. Reprints always come. All right. And we get a look at his sculpts. They talked a lot about the sculpt, but I don't think there was really a whole lot worth really reporting on it. It's just that they tried to capture Anakin in the sculpt, and I think the sculpt looks great. I think it looks awesome. I'm sold. You don't have to sell me on the sculpt. The sculpt looks great. I agree with that. And we did get these are production minis. They're production samples, but this is the basic. And that's why the base is gray as opposed to any other color. So this is like their first run. Basically, the way the production stuff works for these you guys who don't know, you say, "Hey, factory, we want to make Anakin Skywalker." There's a QA process. Like, all right, here it is. They send you one or two. And you're like, "What do you think?" "Oh, okay. Oh no, this isn't right because you didn't get his face right." And then you can say, "No, here's not right." Then they try again. But this is basically that the production copy, that production sample before they go into mass production. So they're probably in mass production right now, but this is what they have to show us. So this is basically how it's going to look. So pretty cool. And you can even see there's a little bit of, like that lightsaber has a little bit of a clip, like the light, you can see where he was on a sprue. All right. Republic Specialists, same thing. Also, you can see that, like on the guys, the guy right here. No, this side. Yeah, you can see the guy in the back. He's got the little sprue mark right here. So this is also production copies. They look fantastic. Somebody in the chat was saying, wait a second, since right here, since that guy's Commander Cody, does that mean that they're not going to do Commander Cody? First off, that's not Commander Cody. He's talking to another clone. He's not talking to Palpatine. But no, I don't think that means that they're not going to do Cody. That means that there's just that this guy happens to be dressed in a similar way. I mean, let's be honest, they all look the same, right? Because they're all clones. They should all look, that guy should look the exact same as Cody. But yeah, and these guys are going to all have, both 1-pips for both the clones and the Separatists are going to be the same. They're going to be, or virtually the same. They're going to be mirror images of each other. They're going to activate one vehicle there, and then after you activate that vehicle, you get to give an order out. This one specifies to another clone trooper. The droid one specifies a droid trooper. Both of them are going to not work with Jedi, So that's cool. But it's not that big a deal because you're getting your regular dudes, right? You're going to be able to put, and they're all the same. Your medic and your engineer are also going to be combatants. That's a big difference with the clones. They're going to be able to shoot, which is a big deal. Your medic now actually can throw down dice, which is awesome. That's very exciting. Your engineer can also throw down dice. Well, that's cool. That means they'll probably be a little bit more expensive. But I think, like they said, for example, they both commanders were 5 points more expensive. So that's interesting. Sorry about the yawn. But yeah. But to make up for the fact that they're also combatants, they also can only heal 1 point as opposed to having capacity 2. They can only heal 1, they can't heal 2. So they're only going to get a 1 shot for healing because they're also busy shooting. And that's the way they balanced those out a little bit. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. That's great. Let's look at Maul. We've got Maul coming up. This paint job is sick, by the way. Incredible looking paint job. I love it. I am intimidated. I know I won't be able to do a job quite this good, but I love it. I love the lightsaber. Man, the lightsaber looks really good too. Like, look, they painted the grooves in the lightsaber on that one. That looks awesome. Very awesome. Why am I yawning so much right now? Yeah, we get all the different sculpts, and the same thing with Maul. He's going to be fast, moving through the battlefield. They talk about Maul is also going to be the same cost as Anakin, 160 points. Darth Maul's going to roll 8 dice with his lightsaber and his Joyo mastery. Him and Anakin both have jump. You assume they would have jump, but that confirms it. They talk about how he has a very fluid move throughout the battlefield. I imagine he probably gets like a free move after either killing or attacking or something like that. That just sounds kind of to be along the lines of how they describe Maul as a whirlwind moving through the battlefield. We get a look at his 1-pip also. And it's going to give him a dodge token. It's going to activate only him. It's going to give him disengage. which is nice. It means you can just move out of melee. While he's engaged with an enemy unit, that unit cannot spend aim, dodge, surge, or standby tokens. No green tokens can you spend. That's incredible. Well, it doesn't say no green tokens, because there could always be, you imagine someday there might be another green token type. But yeah, you can't spend any of those. That's really good. Yeah, and that also applies to clones. They can't spend it off of somebody else either, because they're still spending it. So this is going to be harmful for Jedi as well, because they can't spend those dodges to try to counterattack or anything. So this is really a very strong one pip for very specific cases. You know, if you don't expect to face any Jedi or anything like that, then it might not be that good. But this is really good to go in and finish off that person who's in melee. And it is, like the chat is saying, it is great artwork. That is for sure. And of course we're getting Qui-Gon spoiler artwork on here as well, which is pretty nice. Also, let's see. They talked about how he's got his 3 command cards. We noticed that he has 2 1-pips and a 2-pip. They talked about his second 1-pip actually counts as a 3-pip for list building, much like how Han Solo's 0-pip counts as a 1-pip. Maul, technically, you don't have to worry about putting like 2 other 3-pips in your list. So you're still going to count as a 1, 2, and a 3. It's just that his 3-pip also lets him go first. Oh, wow. I must be tired or something. Sorry about that. The Sith Probe droid, they don't talk about it very much, but they told us a little bit, is that it's going to have observation, which means it puts out observation tokens. They didn't tell us what they are, but my guess is they're going to give you line of sight on something that has an observation token on it. Either that or maybe sharpshooter or something like that, like to be maybe a counter to smoke grenades. They are a detachment to Maul. So if you want to run these things, you're going to have to run Maul. And then the Separatist Specialist box, they didn't have printed versions of these, but basically, I guess they have a 1 on them. So even if you were to put like an extra cheaper personnel in like a B2 Super Battle Droid, it's not going to get the 2 health. It's just still going to be just 1 health in that unit. Still pretty good value there though, because you don't have to put the wound on this one yet, you know. So like you're still gonna get the extra dice and everything out of it, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and he's got the bell-bottom legs too, for sure. And they talked about the T-Series droid here. Is a really good, like comparing the two, like the clone leader is actually really good. The T-Series droid is actually really bad. However, their new keywords that it has are supposedly good enough to make it cost the same as the clone unit, which is, I think, pretty interesting, because they didn't spoil those keywords, so we really don't know much about that. They gave us a look at their 1-pip. That 1-pip is going to do pretty much the same thing as the clone's 1-pip, 1 vehicle, and then also a droid trooper. So you can start your chain that way. I think that's about it. And then, yeah, the last picture was in here before. This is my upcoming battle report. That'll be up there next week, where I'm testing Wookiees versus Mandos, so you can be sure to check that out. But that was, I think, just about everything. At the end, they teased a couple more things. Rules reference guide is coming. It's just been delayed a little bit for our last couple of releases, so that is in the works. And then later this year, we are also going to be getting a points and errata update. So all of that is going to be changed. We're going to see that later this year. The next 4 expansions that come out with this wave are going to be Rebel and Imperial. They said 2 of them will be highly requested. 1 that has never been requested. They couldn't even see how people could want it in Legion. So that's either true or they're completely trolling us. I think we have to consider both possibilities, though. I think it's going to be like Kanan and Ezra, and maybe an Inquisitor and something else. Or maybe Kanan and Hera, and then an Inquisitor and, I don't know, something like Governor Price or something weird, you know, something like that. It might have been a troll. So that's, I think that's about it for all of that. I wanted to run into the chat and see if we missed anything. There's, you want to see Uncharted Land wants to see some new clones. I want to see new clones too. I think Thrawn is a great idea. Thrawn is a fantastic idea. I have an idea for Thrawn. Hear me out. This was something I was going to talk about during Double Critical, and I probably still will. So I'll give you guys a little preview, and then this will be in the next episode because we're gonna be recording another Double Critical here probably very, very soon, and talking about. I think this is going to be the script for the next Double Critical. But here's my idea for Thrawn, and I'm going to give you guys a preview of the next Double Critical. I think Thrawn should have some battlefield control because he's a master tactician. But what would give him like a really unique type of tactical control of the game that nobody else currently has? Imagine Thrawn has a 3-pip. Maybe it says 1-pip. Maybe it counts as his 1-pip, but maybe he goes last in priority. So maybe it's actually like counts as a 4-pip when you play it for priority, but it counts as his 1-pip or list building because it's a very strong card. And it says Thrawn only, so he gives himself an order. After you activate Thrawn, end the turn. You end the whole round, rather, I should say. End the whole round. That could be... Now, granted, I recognize that the idea of something like that is potentially extremely strong. Being able to control that a whole round ends. That could be game-breaking. That's why it has to take the spot of his 1-pip. But also with a lower priority, it gives your opponent a chance to go first. Because when you play that card, you broadcast your intentions to your opponent. Like, hey, I'm going to end this round early. Right? So then your opponent's like, well, I better make my first activation count. But now I have the option of activating Thrawn and then ending the round. Or I could stall and then activate pull from the pile, activate somebody else. And then you don't know when I'm going to end the round. So at a certain point, I get the opportunity to end the round. Is it useless if you go last? I mean, it really depends on if you are in control. And of course, if for whatever reason you're not in control, you could just opt to go with Thrawn last that particular round. You can activate him last and then just end the round. Whoa, we got a super chat from Dan Thaden. What's going on, Dan? Thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Thank you for supporting the stream. We are talking about all about this Legion live stream. Dan suggests the Islamir with Thrawn, and it blocks all force powers in range 1. That's a fantastic idea. I would love to see an EU Thrawn with the Islamir. I could also see that being maybe a card of his. Because if he permanently blocked all force powers, that might be seen as too strong. So maybe it's like a 2-pip or something that he's got that it temporarily blocks all force powers. That could be really interesting too. I love the idea of an Islamir kind of pulling from the EU a little bit. But also, it's not too far of a stretch because when we do see Thrawn the first time in Star Wars Rebels, don't forget, he has those Islamir statues behind him. Now, that's more of an Easter egg, but I'm okay with a command card or something like that also being a similar Easter egg. I think that's a really cool thing. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Very much excited. It's very cool. Thrawn calling in an orbital strike would be pretty interesting too. Yeah. Islamir as a counterpart. I don't see us. I'll be honest. I don't see us getting an Islamir creature running around the battlefield. But then again, that would be something that nobody ever wanted for Legion, right? I do think Thrawn is a very, very likely character to actually show up in Legion, and that maybe Luke might not have thought that people wanted for Legion. I think that's a very distinct possibility. But again, this is more stuff we're going to talk about in the next episode of Double Critical. We've got a first giveaway to give away right now. The first one is going to be a guy who's dressed like Thrawn. It's going to be Krennic and his nemesis, Jyn Erso. If you guys would like to win this pair of cards, just give me a hashtag Rogue1. Hashtag Rogue1 in the chat right now. I will pick a winner. I'm going to close my eyes and point at the screen when those start coming in. Let's see what we get. Man, this is good stuff. I see we're starting to get some Rogue Ones coming in. Here we go. I'm going to point. Boom. I got Phil Nito. Didn't you win the last one? Well, I called it already. I think you won one of the ones recently, didn't you? Phil Nito. All right. That's why I'm doing two. This way, previous winners disqualified if they happen to win again in this one. Okay, so for the next one. So I'm going to do this one. I'm not going to give it to a previous winner. Phil, yeah. I swear, I'm randomly doing this, and we got 100,000 of them. He did win. I feel bad about that, so I'm gonna pick somebody else from the same giveaway. I'm gonna find another Legion promo, and it'll be a mystery promo because I don't have any in front of me right now. I feel bad that the same person won like 2 giveaways in a row. So I'm gonna pick another one, and that's gonna be Jardine Sherling. Wait, no, Jardine Sterling. You're winning a mystery promo for Legion. I don't know what it is yet. Okay, so Jardine. Did I get the name right? Is it Jardine? Or is it? Oh man, yeah, it's Jardine Sterling, Stirling. So Jardine, you won. Yeah, Jardine. Okay, Jardine, you won something also. So again, Phil Nito, you still won. So just do me a favor because I probably don't have it anymore. Send me another email with your shipping info again. You still did win this, Jardine. You also won a mystery giveaway, and I'm gonna give away in a few more minutes. I'm gonna give away the other Spot Gloss promo. Okay. That's crazy. That's crazy that we have so many. That out of everybody that's entering, that somebody won twice. And it wasn't in the same stream. It was, I think, 2 streams ago that Phil Nito won something else. So that is actually pretty cool. Hey, with random picks, it can always happen. And also, there's lots of giveaways going on all the time in Patreon. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel, a little bit of admin stuff as we kind of wrap up the stream. There are links in the description below. You can check out things like Patreon, also my merch shop, my merch shop, things like the Darth Maul neck gaiter. All of my designs for neck gaiters, just about all of them, are also available as face masks. There's currently a sale on face masks, 10% off masks. We use the code WEARAMASK, WEARAMASK, wear a mask. That's running until tomorrow. It's like a 1-day sale. Annette told me last night. I put it on social media. So if you were looking to do something like that, that's also going to help support the channel. But yes, I'm curious. Like, what are you guys most excited about? The stuff that they announced today. I'd love to hear from you guys. Stormo says Anakin's flaw could be on the last turn he changes sides and he gains a green token for each suppression and relentless. It's possible. That is possible. I mean, relentless is just insane. I wonder if Anakin's going to have relentless. I mean, I don't know. How do you know who wins the giveaways? Well, I mean, I just announced it in chat. As far as regular for Piano Player, dude, for the regular giveaways, for the gift card giveaways, I announce those at the end of my videos, and I put the name up and I do that. Basically, I do it at the end of my videos because I am trying to encourage my audience to watch videos usually all the way to the end. It's good for the algorithm. It's good for me, and that's kind of one of the reasons I do the giveaways, because it's a win-win. You guys get stuff for free, and I'm hopefully encouraging you guys to watch longer. So full disclosure, that's why I do it that way. Because in reality, if I put the winners up at the beginning of a video, people would watch my videos and then immediately turn them off, right? And so that doesn't really help the channel grow. So that's the aim for the giveaways stuff being at the end of videos, and that's kind of how it goes. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is because of the algorithm, and and that's just the way it is. But at least I'm trying to be honest with you guys and upfront. That's why I do things the way I do, and I thank you guys for supporting me through the whole process and stuff. Because the more the channel grows, the more people we reach, and the more gamers we bring into our awesome hobby, and kind of expose people to the greatness that's out there. Oh, we got another super chat. Greetings from Spain from William GGC. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Well, thank you, man. He says, thanks for all Crabbok greetings from Spain. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you for helping support the channel, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Duke says, FFG has released an article with a couple of upgrade cards shown. I guess we just got an article. So let's look at that before we do the other. Before we do the other giveaway, let's go to the home page. Let's see. We got Heroes and Legends. Let's see. Oh, and so Anakin's coming out with a Force icon, training icon called Offensive Stance, but it can only go on somebody who has a Force icon. At the start of your activation, you may flip the card. When you perform an aim action, you gain 2 aim tokens instead of 1. You cannot spend dodge tokens. Oh, for an offensive stance. Oh, it doesn't say what happens when you flip the card, though. That's interesting. We also get an equipment card called Portable Scanner. You gain Take Cover 1. Choose a friendly unit at range 1 and it gains a dodge tokens. And B1 battle droids can ignore the card's equipment upgrade icon requirement. So it's basically the same thing as electro binoculars, but for dodge tokens. So we're getting that. And then the T-Series Tactical Droid personnel upgrade. You lose AI attack and you gain Reliable 1, and it becomes leader, and it has sidearm ranged. So that means he will always use his ranged weapon. He's got a 1 to 3 red die, and he's got a 1 hit point. So it seems pretty good. He's 18 points for that leader, but he gives you a red die at range 1 to 3. And so if you combine that with your three black dice, that gives you four pretty decent dice that you can shoot at range 3. That's not terrible. Makes a pretty good B1 battle droid, and that you lose AI attack. Honestly, that goes really good with the B2 super battle droids, to lose AI attack from them. But, well, wait, if you're only losing AI attack, you still have AI move, right? Yeah. That's really interesting. Losing AI attack but keeping AI move is kind of a bummer. And it does make them the leader. So, and those cards I don't have images for those up there on FFG's site right now. Maybe I can get them loaded. We'll take a look at those really quick because those are kind of going along with all of this. So give me a second. I'll load these cards up and we'll look at those, and then we'll stream. Okay, let me get that out of here. Boom. Put that in there. Boom, boom. All right, we're going to download these. This is exciting. Save image. Saving the cards, getting them ready. We're gonna load these up, and we'll look at them here in a second to kind of wrap up this stream. All right, and here we go. And up, and there we go. All right, here we got the cards loaded. Okay. So, and I'll probably break down all of this stuff in a regular video in the next day or two, so we'll be looking at all of this soon. Offensive stance for Anakin. This one looks nice. This is something that you could put on Luke easily. All right, I could see this also going on Luke, which means we have to get somebody for the Rebels and Empire or whatever that is also capable of taking something like this. I assume Maul may also be able to take this, because usually there's a theme with a wave. I could see Anakin and Maul both taking this. Presumably we got to look at somebody from the Rebels and the Empire that could also justify taking this. I'm guessing Kanan. I'm guessing Grand Inquisitor. Something like that. At the start of your activation, you may flip the card. So it probably has maybe defensive stance on the other side. Yeah, it gives you double aims, but you can't spend dodge. So maybe defensive, maybe you get double dodges, but can't spend aims. Right? Does it say that? Let's see. The dual nature is reflected in the beautifully detailed, unpainted, hard plastic Anakin Skywalker miniature in this expansion, which can be assembled either with a firm two-handed grip. No, I don't. That's just talking about. Look at that. Here we go. As one of the most powerful Jedi in history, Skywalker has much to contribute to your armies. His mastery of the Gem-So, a form of lightsaber combat, allows him to make powerful counterattacks against opponents carrying blasters and blades alike, especially if he has taken an offensive stance. But Skywalker is also tempted by the dark side, and should be careful not to allow his foes to exploit this weakness. Yes. Oh, they do show a piece of card art where Anakin is fighting against Dooku, which is interesting. That'll probably be on another card, where he's kind of defeating Dooku is in his duel from Episode 3. So yeah, that looks good, man. That looks really good. So offensive stance looks pretty good. Let's see. Let's go to the chat here. We've got. What do you guys think? If Crabbok does it might tag me, Legionnaires. Oh yeah, if I do hashtag Legion, that might tag you. Absolutely. No, we're not gonna do hashtag Legion. By the way, you only get tagged if somebody uses an @ I believe. Yes. Yeah, I think you're gonna flip for a defensive stance for sure. Next up is the portable scanner. Portable scanner. This one is basically just. It looks like this one's coming in the Droid expansion, and yeah, we're going to. It looks kind of to give out dodge tokens. It's okay. It's nicer if you're running a couple of Jedi. I could see maybe some droids taking this to hand them out to like people like Maul or Dooku. Some Jedi definitely need dodge cards. This is it's a weaker version of Leia's ability. It makes sense that we have something like this because we've already got Leia and Veers were kind of that initial like symmetry, right? Chaos Assassin, do you think that the stream was a bit underwhelming? It was a little bit exactly what I expected it to be, so I won't say I was underwhelmed, but I will say I was whelmed, right? Just regularly whelmed. So it was fine. I enjoyed some of the previews that we got, but I wasn't shocked by anything. I'm pleased. I'm slightly pleased that they did also at least hint at there more stuff that was coming. So that was exactly what I was hoping for. I'm glad that they hinted at more stuff that is coming. And then we get the T-Series Tactical Droid. They gave him the 1, which is really interesting because my first thought is, hey, he can go and be 2 droids, and then he'll have 2 hit points just like them. So this means that he is going to specifically have only 1 hit point, but it's okay because he's still adding a mini to the unit. He's still getting, but also with sidearm ranged, when you do a ranged attack, he's got to use that ranged attack. So he's not going to get the extra die that the B2 Super Battle Droids get either. So you do have that. So he's maybe not as good on the B2 Super Battle Droids. At first thought, I'm thinking, oh man, he's going to be so great with them. And I'm like, no, they really tried to make it to where the only reason you might want to have him in there is to lose AI attack. So you're still going to have AI move. So I really don't. I think he wants to be with the B1s. The only good thing is reliable 1 on a B2s could be nice. So, I'm not sure. I am not 100% sure. It's going to be interesting. So the T-Series, that's it for the T-Series. And these are the last 3 things we got from the live stream. So, Do you think we will get Palpatine and one of each for? Yeah, I think we'll get like a Sheev or a Chancellor Palpatine at some point. I think there's room. I think they've set the precedent with having Emperor Palpatine on the battlefield. There's no reason why we couldn't get Sheev Palpatine or Darth Sidious for the Clone Wars factions. But I would hope that it's not too soon. There's a lot of other characters that I really want to see before that, like Mace Windu and Kit Fisto and Ki-Adi-Mundi and Shak Ti and Ahsoka and Barriss Offee and Plo Koon and just to name a few. Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and do the other giveaway. This one is going to be for the Tauntaun. And with the do-back on the other side. By the way, you guys who won before, make sure you email me at mailcrabbok@gmail.com with your shipping info. So I'll be looking out for that. So make sure you email me. All right. So for this one, this is a Spot Gloss, Tauntaun, and do-back. Let's do a hashtag do-back. DEWBACK. Hashtag do-back. To have a chance to win one of these. One of these. It's only the one. It's double-sided, so you can't just win the do-bag. You're getting the whole card. This is good for dual faction players, right? Hashtag do-back. They're coming in. Here we go. I'm going to point. Pointing to the screen. Joining the screen. Boom. Oh, my goodness. It's Phil Nito again. No, I'm joking. It's going to be David Neal. I got you. You're going to be the winner here. You know what? I just thought of something. This isn't necessarily the best way to do things because somebody might just keep spamming the same button over and over again. So in the future, maybe I'll just limit you of 1 entry per, right? Yeah, I had you laughing, Phil Nito, didn't I? You were like, wait, is the same guy going to win everything? Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So David, just go ahead and shoot me an email, and I will get your promo out in the mail to you. Whew, that's going to wrap it up, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. This has been a fun stream. You know, I enjoy doing things like this, and you know, I know you guys had the option of watching on Twitch or watching over here. Some of you guys did both, and so I thank you for that. Thank you for guys who all watched with me, and thank you for everybody who shared the video and let people know. And I think it's a good idea to be able to do these kind of streams because, especially when FFG has technical difficulties, we're not just left curious what's going on. Like I know a lot of people on the in-flight report dropped out. We had like 500 viewers, and they were down to like 38 because they had so many people just dropping out. So I think the ability to do this is pretty cool. Plus, it's you know, like having the commentary and the back and forth is great. So I enjoyed it, and I enjoy having somebody to talk to. I enjoy having all of you guys to talk to as well. Did he post like 6 times? Well, I think he really wanted it. Don't worry, there's plenty more opportunities to win. Tomorrow, I'm going to be posting the winner of the $100 Amazon gift card giveaway, so stay tuned for that. What else is going on? I've got some cool new things. I've got another Marvel Crisis Protocol unboxing to do. I picked up a new board game expansion that I'm going to do a little bit on that. I need to talk a little bit about Twilight Imperium. Twilight Imperium expansion is coming out. I think that is going to be tomorrow's video. And yeah, we're gonna have some force. So I think that'll be tomorrow's video. That might even be where the winner gets announced of the Amazon gift card giveaway. And I will talk to you guys later. Also, be sure to watch for the new Legion Battle Report, testing Mandos against Wookiees. That is coming soon. It's up on early access on Patreon if you guys are interested in that. Also, if you guys wanna support the shop and pick up some merch, some double critical stuff, or some Legion or face masks or neck gaiters or t-shirts or any of that stuff, it's all down there. I want to thank you guys so much. Hopefully this has been good, fake kind of Gen Con online content for you guys. Yeah, and next year we'll actually be at Gen Con. I can do more live streams from the floor. We can do a whole lot more stuff. Maybe even get interviews, man. I'm trying all the time to get interviews with FFG and to talk with some of these developers about the game and actually put some hype into the interviews, because, you know, some people get interviews and they're just very like, oh, so tell us about the game. And I want to be like, tell us about the game. And maybe that hype is too much for them. Maybe they can't handle it. Maybe it's too much for me. I love these games. That's why I do what I do. I freaking love Star Wars. I freaking love these games. And this is a great time to be alive. I mean, I know we're going through a global pandemic right now, and I know that this is probably the hardest year that most of you have had in your entire life. It's been a hard year on me for sure, and I've been to war. I've been to Iraq, and at the beginning, and this year has been emotionally and mentally exhausting. On par with that one, maybe more so because I have kids now. Well, definitely more so because I have kids now. And I was single when I went to Iraq, so I didn't care much about anything. So I think this has been the hardest year of my life. And this type of stuff is getting me through it. This is exciting stuff, and I hope that it's helping to get you guys through it too. It's a distraction. It's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, hey guys, not if things get better, but when things get better, look at this great stuff you're going to have to put on your tabletop. And I think that's awesome. So, in closing, I do want to remind you guys, out of all the Legion streaming and all the, content creating communities out there, we are the best. You guys are the best, because Team Nunchuck, we take showers. I hear rumors that all those other guys don't shower. So, you know what? If you want to smell nice, join Team Nunchuck. All right, that's all I've got. I want to thank you all so much, and big thanks to my patrons on Patreon as well. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you guys, and as always, Have a great day.